All right, so in this question, we are trying to find the value of r squared, the coefficient of determination, from the following information, which is the sum of yi's, the sum of yi squared, the sum of xi's times yi's, and of course the prediction formula, which is the b0 and the b1, right? Okay, let's get into it. So the easiest way to do it is to look for the SSR, all right, and the SST, right? And according to your book, we have the formula here, which use the following values, right? So this is the same value that we are provided, the sum of yi squared, the sum of yi squared divided by n, and the same here. I can calculate the SSR, and this would be my formula, right? Now, if you look to the numbers, they are quite large, all right? So what you want to do, you don't want to use the calculator, you want to use Excel instead. The calculator will give you huge numbers and it will generate an error. All right, so another information that we might need here, that n, it would be 37. All right, okay, let's move on to Excel. So here I have the formulas and I have the values. So what I'm about to do right now, I'm just going to identify each value here. So here is, according to my formula, this is a b0 plus b1x. So I can identify b0 and b1, and the rest, they are straightforward. So this is sum of yi's is right here, the sum of yi squared here, it can be here, and so forth, right? So I'm gonna just plug them in. Okay, so after plugging in all the values here, just double check please that they are all correct, and we can start plugging in the formula. So now looking at the formula here, you can see that I'm gonna plug in the sum of yi squared first, that it will be the sum of yi squared. So this is the value. So on Excel, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to start a function mode, equal sign, and then I'm going to just click on that value. All right. And then there is a minus sign. And here I have, in this, I have the sum of yi and then square it. So I'm going to open a parenthesis, go back to the cell, open a parenthesis, click on the sum yi, which is this value here, close the parentheses and square it. To square it, you just have to click on shift, hold it, and 6, and that's going to be the exponents, and then 2. All right, and then divide by the n, we say 37, so divide by 37. Okay, and that's going to give me the value, right? So the value SST, and then we move on to SSR. We're gonna do the same thing by following the formula. So you see here we start with b0, and that will be the value right here. I just click on it and then multiply, that hold the shift key and multiply, and the sum of yi's here, sum of yi's will be this value over here, and then plus sign, and followed by a b1. b1 is 2.4460. So I'm going to click on this value, multiply, so shift and 8, and then the sum of xi's, yi's, and this is it. All right, and then minus, open a parenthesis, the sum of yi's, this is the sum of yi's here, click again on it, close the parenthesis, square it, so shift and 6, 2 divided by 37, and enter. There you go. So we get the SSR and SST. Now the value of the r squared. So the value of the r squared is going to be SSR divided by SST. So I'm going to enter equal sign, click on SSR first, divided by the value of SST, that's the value, and enter, and you get 0.78. So probably here you want to see if there is any other decimals. So you're going to go back home and you can use this or this, right? So this one to increase how many decimals, and that's what you want to do, right? Now you want 4 decimal places, so probably you're going to reduce it one more. So that's 7808. Let's verify it. So 07808. Okay, check it, and it's good. All right, so now we might want to go back to the problem, and in order to answer to this, what is the coefficient of determination? So according to my information here, so these students, they want to figure out what are the factors that impact the salary, starting salary. So the starting salary will be the yi's, all right? So the yi's, they are the dependent variables, right? And they are the starting salary, right? And the xi's would be the independent factor and the predictor, if you want to. So the tuition per year is going to be the predictor, right? So this one is the independent, and this is going to be tuition, right? And why we need, so this is a predictor, and this is the predicted value. Right? Now, why do we need this? Because the coefficient of determination, if you remember, r squared times 100% is, all right, is the predicted value of the y's, is the yi's value predicted from the x value. So that the percentage that possibly predicted, right? So in this case, then if we have 70, I think we have 78%. So this is 78% of the starting salary is predicted by the tuition, all right? And let's look for the proportion of the variation in per year tuition. No. And we're gonna go the proportion of the variation in starting salaries is explained by the variation in tuition, and this is most likely the correct answer, and that's good. Now the SYX, we have a formula as well. So the SYX is given by the formula, which is the square root. This is a square root of SSE divided by n minus 2. So we don't want to do the calculation again for the SSE with Excel. So what will be easier, since we have the SS total, it's going to be the SSR minus, plus the SS error, all right? We can determine this by doing some algebra. So the SS error would be the SS total minus the SSR, and of course everything gonna be done on Excel, right? And again, n is 37, so this is gonna be 35, all right, and square root, of course. All right, let's move on to Excel. So I want to determine the SSE here, and I start with the equal sign, and then I'm gonna click on SS total and minus sign, and then click on the SSR. All right, it's really simple, and that says the error. All right, and if I want to calculate SXY, all right, this is going to be equal sign. So in Excel, the square root is SQR, right? So that's the square root, SQRT actually. And you click on this, you can, right? So that's square root. Now I'm gonna click on the SSE, this one, divided by n minus 2, which is 35, we say, and close the parentheses and enter. So that's gonna be 15,426. Let's copy it and let's plug it in to verify it. All right, so they want 2 decimal places, and that should be it. The $sign probably you want to take it away, and let's check it. Okay, it went through. Okay, so now seeing the r squared is well, it's not equal to 1, but it's fairly close to 1, right? Fairly close to 1. So this is a good model. All right, useful model, fairly useful model. Okay, good, and we are all set. Nice.